Hi, Jules Blessed Vegan, and welcome to week 36 of our 45-week countdown to the best version of ourselves in the new year. For those of you who are new, you are right on time. There is never a better time than now than to choose health and wellness. You can do it. This community can support you. I know it's a small, little, humble community, but we are here. No judgment. And if you would share in the comments, I would love to support you. If you have a topic I'm not familiar with, I'm willing to do the research. Anyway, I just wanted to catch up, my friends. I put that little bunny rabbit picture because once I calmed down from yesterday, I realized it was a pretty fantastic time. And, I just think people really struggle with family issues. Like, if you don't see your family that often, when you finally do, there can be so many expectations. Also, just regarding holidays, it can be filled with past issues, lost promises, hopes that weren't fulfilled, and of course, food temptations, right? Beyond measure. And I have been alluding to my new solution. Here's my jar. Look at it. It's filling up with all my beautiful little rocks. Again, if you're not familiar, I encouraged people to go to what we have as the Dollar Tree and get a jar. I really like this jar. And to get some glass beads, but you could certainly use marbles. The best part about it is that it is a non-caloric reward that will absolutely get you off the roller coaster of breaking your program, breaking your food goals, and giving into compulsions, unreasonable compulsions, especially if they haunt you from your past. Like if it's your little kid, you're trying to parent yourself, and it's your little kid who keeps interrupting your success, which is certainly my story. Because, man, I love eating as a healthy, high raw vegan. And then my little kid shows up and says, I want it now. So I'm not ready for that talk, which will be much longer than most of my videos because it's such good information. But I'm going to encourage you once again to invest $2, $3, or $4 in beautiful little rocks or marbles and some jar. I am telling you, this is the answer, people. This is the answer. I'm stoked. Okay. So what I wanted to share, though, is, so often we can't control things. Like right now, I'm beside myself because my poor little dog, Poppy, is in a ton of pain. And they did x-rays on her head, and they're not finding anything out of place per se. And I've had her 8 years, at least 8 years, and I think she was 5 or 6 when I got her. I mean, she might just be ready to exit the planet. But that's never true for the soul, right? She's a little dynamo. She's so cute and funny and wants to be part of everything, but she is just in tons of pain. So even though we've already spent $700 this time, we're going to spend $400 more on Wednesday, and I'm going to miss a little bit of school to get her to surgery, which may not happen. I mean, ideally, they're going to go ahead and anesthetize her, do more x-rays, and see if there's anything they can do. Because of her age and because of our circumstance, which is we have tons of animals and they really have to be self-sufficient. We both work and we do our best by them, but if they can't eat, we can't go to special needs. And that is not to suggest that I would not do that for a human, which I have absolutely done a few times now, where I've nursed humans to the point that they were willing to allow themselves to be cared for. And because humans have a soul that needs to be amended, I would never cut a human life short. But because animals are handled and they're only here out of grace and to love us, I know that I can safely send them back to God when it is just not reasonable to sustain them, especially when they're in chronic pain, the way Poppy keeps yelling out. So prayers for Poppy and prayer for me, because even though I sound so brave, I will be a wreck. I'm already a wreck. But she just keeps going like this, and there's something in her neck that's really hurting. The doctor's going to look at her. He's going to try and snap it back in place if it's a, neck, like her jaw's out of whack or something. But beyond that, prayers, prayers, prayers. All right. So that said, there are things we cannot control. That's one of them. I offer all to God, and He is so merciful. But there are things we can control, and this is a list of things we can control. I'm going to try and attach it, but I don't know if I can. So you could take notes, but what I would do is I would just write down the ones you hadn't thought of. If you find yourself nodding and saying, oh yeah, I already do that, don't bother to write it down. But if you get to one where you're like, wow, yeah, I wasn't thinking that, write that down. It's kind of like a spelling test with my students. I tell them, don't study the words you already know. Only practice the ones you don't know. All right, so these are things you can control. Number 1, your beliefs. What is it you believe in? Number 2, your attitude. How are you approaching things or responding to things? Number 3, your thoughts. Because, where your focus goes, that is your intention. So are you obsessed about your thoughts in some way? Your perspective. How are you looking at something? And is it authentic? Are you really seeing it for what it is? How honest you are. I have buzzers going off all the time when I choose not to be honest. And I'm grateful, and I ask God to never stop reminding me. But how honest are you? Who are your friends? Are they real friends? Because many people say that you'll only have 2 or 3 quality friends in your whole life, or at a time. The rest are acquaintances and stuff. So who are your friends? What books you read? Remember that idea of protecting what you see, protecting what goes in your head? What books are you reading? How often you exercise? The type of food you eat. Hello? How many risks you take? How you interpret a situation. Again, that's based on your perspective, right? How kind you are to others. Man, I am so blessed to be kind to others. Strangers, doesn't matter who. If I can say yes, I say yes. How kind you are to yourself. Oh my goodness. I'm being more gentle and kind with myself, especially with this new little trick I've adopted. How kind are you to yourself? Still, my siblings were like, Juliana, take that back. That was super rude. I can't believe you just said that about yourself. It's a work in progress. How often you say, I love you. I say it a lot to people, to myself. I'm getting there. How often you say thank you. That's cool. Probably need to say it to my students more. I require them to say, may I please? But sometimes they don't say thank you, and I should step it up. How you express your feelings. I'm good. I got that. Whether or not you ask for help. That's a tough one for me. I tend to be very independent, but yes, take the risk. How often you practice gratitude. Pretty good about that. How many times you smile. I'm set. The amount of effort you put forth. I'm good, but I have some deficits for sure. How you spend or invest your money. That's a tight one. It's very difficult because I have a partner and we perceive things differently. And my money's his money and vice versa. That's a tough one, but it's worth looking at. Again, these are things we can control. How much time you spend worrying? Oh, for sure. I'm so lucky to offer things to God and trust that He's on the case. Otherwise, I would be sick to my stomach. How often you think about your past. Whether or not you judge other people. That's a big one, right? Whether or not you try again after a setback. Oh, I'm really good at that. How much you appreciate the things you have. I'm really good at that. So there's a lot. I'm going to go much quicker in case you were like, oh shoot, I didn't write that down really quick because I don't know if I can attach this. I'll try my best. 1, your beliefs. 2, your attitude. 3, your thoughts. 4, your perspective. 5, how honest you are. 6, who your friends are. 7, what books you read. 8, how often you exercise. 9, the type of food you eat. 10, how many risks you take. 11, how you interpret situations. 12, how kind you are to others. 13, how kind you are to yourself. 14, how often you say I love you. 15, how often you say thank you. 16, how you express your feelings. 17, whether or not you ask for help. 18, how often you practice gratitude. 19, how many times you smile today. 20, the amount of effort you put forth. 21, how you spend or invest your money. 22, how much time you spend worrying. 23, how often you think about your past. 24, whether or not you judge other people. 25, whether or not you try again after a setback. And 26, how much you appreciate the things you have, things you can control. All right, I'd love to know your thoughts. Like if you like, join us if you haven't. What is your goal? We're down to week 36. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's amazing how quickly it's gone, and it'll keep going quickly. So do you have a long-term goal? I'd love to support you in it. And until we talk again, my friends, be blessed.